I've got pictures.
All right, the Parks Committee will come to order. It is Tuesday, October 12th. And second roll call. Alder Steuer. Here. Alder Campbell. Here. Alder Eck.
I'm here.
All right. Alder.
Maybe last.
And Alder Weary. Can I have an approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And approval of the minutes.
Aye.
So moved. Motion by Alder Steuer.
Second.
Second by Alder Eck. Any discussion there? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carried. Regular business. One, consideration with possible action on approving a lease with McDonald Services LLC to lease Bay Beach Amusement Park gravel parking lot space to McDonald Services LLC and to lease warehouse space from McDonald Services LLC to accommodate Bay Beach Amusement Park storage needs. Director.
So there's a desire by McDonald Services LLC and Bay Beach staff to enter into a lease agreement that mutually benefits both parties. So McDonald Services would like to lease the gravel parking lot west of the old Falling Star ride to store empty semi-trailers in the months that Bay Beach is closed. So the cost for their portion of the lease to us is $1,000 per month. They have been leasing this parking lot for the last 2 winters and have paid us $1,000 per month to do so. So this isn't a new lease agreement as far as that part of the lease goes. So it has worked out well for the city for the last 2 winters, and I would recommend we continue to do that. It's a good source of additional revenue per year out at Bay Beach Amusement Park. So the difference between this lease agreement and the prior ones is that now the city would also like to lease empty warehouse space to accommodate storage needs at Bay Beach Amusement Park. So McDonald Services does have an empty warehouse available for rent directly across the street from Bay Beach behind the Children's Museum. And the cost to rent the warehouse is also $1,000 a month. So our desire is to rent the warehouse space year-round, whereas theirs will be a seasonal rental. So we'll use the warehouse space to store rides in the winter months, and we'll store equipment and other items in the summer months. So we have a lot of storage needs out at Bay Beach Amusement Park, and we're just running out of places to put it. Right now we're sticking the rides in every little nook and cranny that we can out at Bay Beach, so this will simplify things dramatically. So the lease is structured so that on the months that both parties are leasing space, there will be no money exchanged. And on the months where only the city is leasing space from McDonald Services, we'll pay them $1,000 a month. So the park, like I mentioned, the parking lot will be rented for 7 months out of the year, and we will rent it for 12 months at the warehouse for 12 months out of the year. The funding for the city's portion will come out of excess revenues from Bay Beach Amusement Park. So it's all the ticket sales, concessions, that's what's paying the rental for the warehouses. And if it's approved, the lease will be good for 1 year with the option to renew if both parties agree. So I would recommend approval, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alder Eck to approve. Second. Second by Alder Steuer. Any discussion on that?
Yes.
Well, you can ask if you have a question.
Question? Yeah, go ahead.
You guys are past it already.
No,
I'm just reading through the liability, that's all.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Lease is a lease. Till it's signed.
Yeah, and the liability, we reviewed with our city's risk department and also the city attorneys. So they helped draft this lease agreement, and those terms were standard terms that we have in most of our other agreements for the city.
So do they plow it in the winter? Or does the city plow it?
They will be plowing both. So they plow our gravel parking lot.
Oh.
And in the agreement, if they damage it, it's a gravel parking lot, so if they damage it or damage the turf surrounding it, they do repair that in the spring. But we don't know when they need it plowed and when they don't, so it's difficult for us to plow a lot to accommodate their needs. But they will be plowing the warehouse, and I believe that cost is included in the lease, but I'd have to verify that. I know it's discussed in the lease, I just can't remember the specifics of that detail.
Would you need to get in there during the winter?
In the winter months? Yeah, we would have to go in and out of there in the winter months to the warehouse.
Is it heated or?
No, it's a non-heated space.
Just Easy question.
Yep.
Any other questions? We do have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Number 2, consideration with possible action on accepting a $35,500 Wisconsin Coastal Management Program grant for the purchase of the Woods Golf Course Greenway. I like grants.
We did talk about this before, didn't we? Or is this a new one?
We did talk about it. Just give me a second to get caught up here with. Okay, so in 2021, the city was approached by a developer who purchased the back 9 holes of the Woods Golf Course on the city's east side. So the property is currently managed as a golf course, and the south branch of Bear Creek runs right through the middle of the property. So the developer is proposing to create a 12.1 acre greenway through the middle of the property where the creek is located. And the greenway would all be consisted of unbuildable property. So the area to the west of the proposed greenway will be converted to single-family residential, and the area to the east of the proposed greenway will be developed as a condo development. So they did approach the Parks Department and asked if there was any interest from the city to acquire this greenway. That was all done in 2021. We have discussed this project multiple times with the Park Committee in the past, and the last time we discussed this was on April 27th of this year. The motion made at that meeting was to approve the acquisition of the Woods Golf Course Greenway for a total purchase price of $86,000, along with waiving 1/2 of the parkland fees, contingent upon receiving a Wisconsin Coastal Management grant that will fund 40% of the acquisition price. So we applied for a grant. We just found out that the city did receive that grant in the award of $35,500. And it is from Wisconsin Coastal Management Program, and it will all go towards the purchase of the property, which I mentioned was 40% of the acquisition price. Per the grant award, the city will have to fund the remaining $52,500, which is 60% of the acquisition costs. And the Parks Department does have enough money in our existing budget to accommodate that. So we have funding in place through a previous bonding request, and so no additional funding is needed if this grant were to be approved. So per our city policy, any grant award does need to be approved by a committee and city council. So therefore, I'm seeking approval to accept the grant. That's what we're doing today. I am fairly confident that the city will be able to purchase the property within a few months of getting a signed grant contract in place.
Thanks, Director. Any questions?
I can make a motion to approve the grant.
Second.
Motion by Alder Campbell, second by Alder Eck to approve. Discussion. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Aye.
This was a very long agenda.
I know, I saw that. Well, okay, so we were right. It is a little, it was a good short one.
Informational Director's Report. We will have some juicy stuff here.
Yeah. So as you know, as most of you probably know, Bay Beach is now closed for the season. We'll be going through our budget. We'll let you know. We'll give you an end recap of the year once we have all that information compiled, let you know how we did out there this year. Forestry is now working on stump grinding and tree planting. We usually do that work in the fall. And then tree removals, we do a bulk of them in the winter months. So we're hoping to remove about 1,200 to 1,500 trees in this cycle and plant about 200 trees this fall. So you'll be seeing them around a lot this winter, and we'll be getting to a lot of the trees that people are complaining about recently. Also, the Green Bay Conservation Corps will host a buckthorn removal volunteer day at Red Smith Woods on Saturday, October 29th, and this is for Make a Difference Day. So we'll have a volunteer day, we'll remove all the buckthorn, and then we hope to do a follow-up volunteer day next year to do some trail repair and place some wood chips down on the trail. So it's a nice project. And then the last thing I have to add is the second annual Howling Halloween Hike. It's hard to say quickly. Will take place at the Wildlife Sanctuary on Friday, October 21st. This event will accommodate 600 participants, and it's a sign-up only, and we're already sold out. And we were sold out within a week or two of posting it and advertising it. So it's a very nice event. And even if you can't participate and actually get a goodie bag when you go, it's still a nice event if you want to go and walk around and see how it's set up.
Do you need any more ghouls?
What's that?
Do you need any more ghouls?
I did that once.
So that's all I have.
All right.
Dan, could I ask really quickly though?
Yeah.
You remember we had talked about Perkins Park, the neighborhood,
Yeah.
with the trees and that. What is going on with that?
So where we sit with that is we received a design from the consultant that we hired to take a look at the disc golf course. We reviewed that design internally and we asked them to modify the design slightly. Once we get the modified design, then we'll put together the final aspect of it, which is kind of the tree massing and the planting plan. So it's in the works. I know it's not going as quickly as we had hoped.
Well, I do get calls occasionally, so I just was trying to give them a date of some sort if we can, but sometime in the future, near future maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, we are working on it. I'll have to check on the schedule of when we expect the modifications to come back to us from the consultant, because that will skew the timeline.
Okay. Thanks.
Alder Eck, and Alder Campbell. Right down the line.
Okay. Yeah, so I know that at our Green Bay Neighborhoods meeting, the mayor had said that the snowmaking equipment would not be installed until next year.
Correct.
So I was disappointed.
Yeah, we all are, but there's a long lead time on those. Again, it's like anything else when you're building something new and ordering parts. There's a lead time on the mechanical and electrical parts. So even when we started researching this a few months ago, before we even put the application in, the manufacturers told us there's no way, even if you place the order today, you wouldn't have it in time for this year. So it's just a lead time issue more than anything else.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Snow manning off of that, since it's seasonal. I know Fuller Construction, I know Rob, that owns the business, has one. What if we could work it out, snowmaking machine?
Oh.
What if we could get somebody, is it possible, if I asked, if you would donate the use of that machine somehow, some way, to make some snow with it?
Possibly. I guess what I would recommend, if you want to reach out to them, you can give them my contact information.
Sure.
If they're interested, I can talk to them about it. I know that
Maybe you'd even want to sell it.
maybe. I mean, we would consider buying a used piece of equipment. We don't have the traditional setup like a normal ski hill has. We don't have a big body of water that you draw from to make snow. So we're going to have to do it a little bit differently than where other places make snow. So that doesn't mean that, if he's willing to donate.
Just wondering. I don't know if he still has it, but I know.
Equipment.
I know he's done it for people already. Like people like, you want snow in your yard in July? I can make some snow. He does. And he's crazy like that. He will.
Good crazy.
Just one of my good friends. Sorry.
Give him my contact information.
I know he's done concrete, whatever. His dad for years with the city, so.
Just give him my contact information, and if
Just
he wants to
wondering.
call me, great.
Perfect.
See if I can stop, see him, give it a shot, kind of get a shoehorn going into the deal. Maybe he wants to get rid of it, who knows?
Anything else?
If he has. When you get said about the trees, Kennedy Park has a bazillion ash trees that are just going to collect snow.
Yeah, and what
Them the trees you're talking about getting.
Yeah, we'll be taking down a lot of ash trees along with other trees too. But how we do it is, there's so many ones that are kind of in various stages of dying that we literally prioritize them on the ones that are in the worst condition and the ones that are most unsafe for the public. And those are the ones we focus on first. So if you want to know specifically about Kennedy, if that'll be on the list, I can get that
People are asking.
information from our forest.
There's no leaves on them. There has been in a year or two.
Yeah.
Some of them have growth underneath them, but that's about it.
All right. Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Receive
Or wait,
and place-
receive and
well,
place
there
and
we go.
file.
Bingo.
Yeah, nice.
Motion by Alder Eck,
Second.
Second by
Second.
Alder Steuer. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Alder Eck.
Second.
Second by Alder Campbell. Those in favor?
Aye.
Get back.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. We're adjourned.
Not a record, but close.
Back to-
Oh, really? What's the record? Like for us?